Today, I'm going to answer top 10 most frequently asked questions about my drapes. It's called drapery panels. Somebody on social media yelled at me that I'm not using the right terminology, but since I don't work for commentators on social media, I'm going to call it drapes, drapery panels, curtains. You know what I'm talking about. I can call it Bob if I wanted to. Today, I'm going to talk about Bob. All kidding aside, I'm going to answer all the questions. I'm going to link all the resources in the description box. Keep in mind that I'm not an interior designer, so my advice comes from a DIYer's perspective. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Number one question I get is, where are your drapes from? My drapes are 100% custom. I think this question mainly comes from people who are seeing a lot of influencers buying semi-custom drapes from websites like Two Pages Curtains. They're so popular. It seems like everybody's getting them, but no, my drapes are custom. What that means is that I chose the fabric, I chose the trim, and I took the measurements. I sent all that information to what's called a workroom, which is generally a small business of artisans, seamstresses that do this. And they made my drapes, they shipped it back to me, and then I hung them. Question 2, where is the fabric from? So the fabric is from a company called Elliston House. They're a small design house. They're two women that design some of the prettiest fabric that I've ever seen. The fabric pattern is called Vera Vine, and the background color is blue. That's where I got the fabric. Question 3, where is the trim from? So my trim came from Etsy. So when I started looking for trim online, trims are so insanely expensive and you need so much of it. I fell in love with this Brunswick and Fee trim, which was absolutely gorgeous. But the price was, I believe, close to $100 a yard. And I was going to need $1,000 worth of trim. And I just felt like I did not love the trim enough to spend $1,000 on it. So I shopped around a little bit and I got this trim from Etsy. It was like $18 a yard. It was very affordable. I think I probably spent around $300 on my trim. So I did add these little florets on top of my drapery panels where the pinch pleats are, I would say, and that was additional probably $200 to $300. So in total, I might have spent about $500 on my trim. Question 4, are your drapes lined? Yes, my drapes are lined. I just chose a light filtering type of lining. I did not choose a blackout lining. The reason being that my drapes are not doing the job of blocking light in this room. You want your drapes to be lined. The reason being is that my fabric is 100% linen. So it's fairly lightweight on its own. And without the lining, your drapes are not going to drape. And also, I'm not a big fan of that very casual kind of French cafe type of vibe. I want my drapes to have that formal look. And so the lining is kind of essential if you're going for that. And so yes, they're lined. Question 5, are your drapes functional? Meaning, do they open and close? Yes, they do. Even though I don't ever close them because I want them to look pretty and perfect like this at all times, I wanted them to be functional. I think it's a psychological thing. Like when you spend this much money on something, you want it to be able to do the basic job of giving you privacy or, blocking the light, whatever it can. So I made sure that they are functional. I do have a separate roller shade on every window, which operates with this remote, and that does the job of blocking the light and giving me privacy. So I open and close those every single day. In terms of my drapery panels, I don't close them because then I have to fluff them and things like that, and don't want to deal with that. So they're always open like this. Okay, the next question I get, question 6, is how wide are your drapery panels? So generally when you speak about drapery panels, you talk about the finish width. And in my case, these over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are 42 inches wide. And these ones over the big window are approximately 56 inches. I don't know exactly because I was trying to measure them, over the sofa and all those things, but I would say about 56 inches. These are 42. How much fabric did you need? So I ordered a total of 50 yards of fabric. That's a lot of fabric. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing when I imagine 50 yards, like 50 yards of fabric is just hanging on my windows. Yeah, that's a lot of fabric. So I have these panels here. Then I have the big panels for the bigger window. And then I have these Roman shades. They're relaxed Roman shades. And these are not functional actually. So all of that together was 50 yards of fabric. That is a lot of fabric. Question 8. Which is the biggest question. That's the elephant in the room, is how much did they cost? They were $10,000. I'm not joking. They were actually $10,000. So let's do the math together. The fabric was $140 a yard. I needed 50 yards of fabric. That's $7,000 in fabric. I spent $500 on the trim. The labor in my case was $2,500. I wanted to clarify a little bit about the labor. So when I got my drapery panels back from the workroom the first time, these only had 5 pinch pleats. And because of that, they were looking really skinny, like almost anemic. And I'm not a fan of that look. Secondly, they were not closing in the middle. And this window, same thing. They were not closing in the middle, which was another deal breaker for me. So I sent them off to get 2 more pleats added on all of them. So these came back with 7 pleats. I was still not 100% happy and I would have been okay with it. The problem was there was some discrepancy in the first fabric and the second fabric. So I contacted the manufacturer. They sent me the correct fabric, blah, 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 blah. So I got them fixed again. And then I was finally happy with the way they looked. So there was a lot of work and rework involved. And I just wanted to clarify that for the sake of accuracy. Had I known what I was doing, had I measured accurately and gotten the right amount of pleats the first time, I think I probably would have spent about $1,500. That's my guess. So do what you will with that information. So the next question I get is, can I achieve this look by ordering from one of those websites like 2 Pages Curtains? And there are many more now. And the short answer is no. I'm sorry. You cannot achieve a custom look by ordering from a generic website. I don't know what else to tell you. Of course, there's a big difference in the craftsmanship, but you're not even going to notice that difference unless you really look behind the panels. The challenge is finding a really pretty fabric that has rich, intense colors. Majority of the fabric selection that they have is inoffensive. So most of them offer fabrics that are solids because that's easy. You don't have to worry about pattern matching. I know that they're offering more and more prints these days, but even those fabrics just have a very inoffensive colors that appeal to the masses. And their entire business model really depends on appealing to the masses. Whereas you're trying to design something that's custom, that's one of a kind, that you love, and that's specific to your taste. This fabric is 100% linen. Most of those websites are selling polyester. When you try to dye a fabric in a blue ground like this one, that costs money. All the pretty print in that fabric that has several different dyes, that costs money. And the end product is only going to appeal to a very small group of people. So long story long, you can't achieve a custom look by ordering from a semi-custom website. Last question, which nobody asks, but I'm sure you're wondering. So it's going to be asked and answered. Are they worth it? And my answer is absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, they're 100% worth it. Trust me, the idea of having $10,000 hanging on my windows, just standing there looking pretty, is mind-blowing to me. Flip open any magazine right now, go on Instagram, go on Pinterest. The one thing you're going to see over and over and over again in each and every room is they're always going to have custom drapes. It's an absolute non-negotiable in high-end home decor. So yes, it's insanely expensive, but yes, it's absolutely worth it. So hope you found that useful. I hope that answered all your questions, but if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer.